everybody. So I went to a screening of Ridley Scott's Gladiator II, and I think Gladiator is one of the best films of all time, and I love Ridley Scott. Um, he's one of those directors like a Tim Burton or a Park Chan-wook or a Guillermo del Toro or an Orson Welles, who, Paul Thomas Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, whatever. He's one of those auteurs who Francis Ford Coppola, Ridley. Ridley's just one of those guys. Stanley Kubrick. He's just one of those guys who I love all of his films, seen all of them, love them, even the ones that are, but Gladiator is a great film. I thought this was a worthy sequel. It follows a story of Russell Crowe's character in Gladiator. His son Lucius, played by Paul Mescal. He is in a battle, and just like in the first Gladiator, the battle's in the woods, and this one's a naval battle. So the Hollywood answer is, if you want to make something more pretty or up it and make it more epic, add water. It's kind of a thing that works visually, and I guess narratively and logistically as well. It always ups everything, both visually and otherwise. But So it starts with a big naval battle. He loses, becomes a slave, and as a slave, he has to earn his freedom through being a gladiator. And the fights get escalated. First one's with a bunch of monkeys that were interesting. And then there's the rhino. He fights a guy in a rhino, which was original. That's original, right? And then there's a big naval battle, which is beautiful. But they added sharks. They had all sorts of animals in the Colosseum, like alligators, certainly, but they didn't have sharks. That's a little silly. And the rendering of the VFX was, it's not the strongest visual effects sharks, but whatever. It's fun. And there are these twin emperors who I guess kind of are supposed to be like even more corrupt than the last emperor, Joaquin Phoenix's character in the first Gladiator, and I guess they're supposed to like mimic it or parody like a corrupt version of Romulus and Remus, which is interesting. And they are based off of real emperors from Rome. However, this is a made-up story. It never happened. It's fiction, and so the political stuff that happens with these emperors is completely made up, and it's not historically accurate at all. But it does make you want to go back and read history, which I think is good because I totally encourage reading and history. I think that's really important and special. That's one of the cool elements of this film. But the emperors have a plot, and he has to not only avenge himself and save Rome. And I enjoyed the film. I hope everybody goes and sees it. I will just say one note, and that is so it's beautiful. Great VFX. One thing I'll just quickly note is that Hollywood really just doesn't. People want these stories, so I think it's going to do well. I think it should do well. There's that thing where men think about the Roman Empire frequently, so it's good that Hollywood is, giving the marketplace what they want. Ancient Rome in this world usually is not depicted accurately by Hollywood. Now, it's gorgeous in the film. However, ancient Rome was very colorful. And for some reason, Ridley Scott and his team, and it's not just them, it's Hollywood in general, they insist on not accurately representing ancient Rome. I mean, ancient Rome was very colorful. And here it's very, tan and beige and monochrome, and that's fine, and it's very pretty. And there are times when it is colorful, but most of the time it's this very, like I said, beige color palette, which is not even a little bit accurate. If you go to like the Getty, basically it looks like the Getty here in Los Angeles, which is beautiful. But if you go to the statues, yes, the statues are white from a distance, but if you get up close, you can see that there are little hints, nuances of paint, because they were all colorful. Everything was painted. Everything had color. There was no white statues. There were no buildings without decoration on them. The paint wore off because this was a while ago, and so that's why they look the way they do today. So Hollywood insisting on, it's not very smart, and it's not an accurate representation, and it's a missed opportunity, and there's a better version of this. But that said, I did see one film that kind of got it right, but then the script was weak, and there were other things that kind of ruined it. And then there's this one guy named Danilo Donati, who was the production designer on Amarcord by Fellini. He did some, mise en scène in this space that, is some of the best work in production design. But unfortunately, Hollywood doesn't. Look, in defense of Hollywood, there's a lot that you have to do to make a movie. Look. It's not that long of a movie, and it was entertaining, and I hope you go see it because it's important that we go into theaters to see movies. And until my next video, thank you.